Hello. Friendly reminder, tomorrow you have a test, 25 questions, all multiple choice, your focus, your map, all that stuff is due. Please make sure you have it ready to go. You should have your whiteboards and your notebook out and ready to go. Friendly reminder, I'm no longer accepting tissue boxes. Your girl will never worry about tissues again in her life. I have that many. But I am still accepting Crayola crayons and I would really like them. I need them really badly. So if you'd like to donate some, that would be warm my heart in all the places. What do you got, Viola?
So is 2 packs of crayons worth $5?
Yes. Okay. And highlighters. If you want to give packages of highlighters, I really kind of don't need them. And I would like, so if you could do crayons, crayons is what I need. Okay? Crayons is what I need. What?
So is the deadline for
No, it's
Friday.
week 8 test, which is Thursday.
Oh, God.
Week 8 test, so it's tomorrow. So it needs to be here while you're taking the test. Like, don't have your mama or your daddy or whoever loves you drop them off after school tomorrow. Like, no, it's due the moment you sit down for your test. Yes? So leave your parents alone. If you're not responsible enough to get it, don't make it your parents' problem. Okay. What?
Is the test out of 50?
Yes. It's a normal test. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, they are. All right. October 13th. October 13th is the deadline for any makeup. I am telling you right now, I'm not going to be here on October 13th. I'm taking a personal day. I'm going on a date with my husband, and I'm pretty stoked about it. The reason why I'm telling you this, it's not to rub in your face that I'm going on a cute day with my husband, is because I'm not here to administer tests. So if you have any makeup tests, you need to do it before October the 13th. Is everyone clear? You have 7 actual school days to make it happen. So please make sure you are making up those tests because I will not be here on October the 13th. October the 13th, you can either sit here and work on makeup or you can work on week 10 stuff. Okay? Questions, concerns, comments? Perfect. On your whiteboard, here we go. What is the first country to rise in the age of exploration? Harding.
Portugal.
Portugal. On your whiteboard, who is the second country to rise? Good, Lily.
Spain.
Who is the third country to rise? Good, Amy. England. Who is solely responsible for Portugal being the first country to rise? Who is solely, he's not a king though. Who is it, Gianni? Prince Henry the Navigator. If you call him a king, it's wrong. You can just say Henry the Navigator would score, but if you call him a king, it's wrong. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is the name of the first dude to make it all the way to India via the sea? He is going to open the path that everyone else will copy. Emerson. Diaz doesn't make it all the way to India. Who is it? Mr. Nash. Vasco da Gama. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is it called when individuals with small investors and large investors own parts of businesses? What is it, Joshua? Joint stock companies. There are 2 joint stock companies you have to know. What are they? Good. Callie. EOC and VOC, the British East India Trade Company and the Dutch East India Trade Company. What is it called when European nations are taking over ports, but they're not controlling it governmentally wise? They're just controlling port access. What do we call it? Good. What is it? Rinkus. Trade Post Empire. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is the name of the treaty that divides the world between Old World and New World? Good. Luke.
Treaty of Tordesillas.
Treaty of Tordesillas. On your whiteboard, the Treaty of Tordesillas is between what 2 countries? Good. Izzy. Portugal and Spain. It's written by who? On your whiteboard. Who is it? Who actually writes it? Good. Who is it, Viola? The Pope. Who can raise your hand and tell me why the Pope's doing it? Why does the Pope get involved in the first place? What do you got, Emerson?
The Christians just wanted to.
Don't say Christians. Too vague. It's another C word, Emerson. Come on, don't say Christians. It's more specific. Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Keep going, Emerson. Catholics what?
Like to put your voice in
didn't want to Catholic, like, group fight against.
There you go. Okay, Christians at this point is too vague. And we don't really see the word Christian again until we get evangelicals. And those aren't going to start popping up until the 1950s. Have you ever heard of Christian evangelists? Yeah, have you ever seen the guys on TV preaching on TV? Yes? Those are evangelists. These are like born-again Christians, those types of things. They don't start popping up until the 1950s. They start using the word Christian. So once the Christianity starts splitting off, you don't really hear it Christian anymore. You're Catholic, you're Protestant, or you're whatever. It's not until you get to the evangelists where we start hearing Christians again. I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian. That's evangelism. All right, here we go. On your whiteboard, please tell me. What are the two major exports the Spanish are finding in their new territory? Good, Viola.
Gold and silver.
Gold and silver. They're mining, friends. On your whiteboard, true or false? The Spanish are bringing their wives.
Bring the what?
Wives. What is it, Jade? False. They are not bringing their wives. Are they sitting at home by themselves reading the Bible? Hell no. They need to come up with what social structure to regulate all these mixed race babies wandering around. Good. What is the name of the social structure, Thomas?
The APM system.
The encomienda system is a social structure to deal with all these mixed babies. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the name of the forced work system that uses the encomienda system in order to trap the indigenous? What is it, Callie? The hacienda system. So that is, we're going to really talk about the hacienda system a ton next week. Know that it exists. Know that it's based on the encomienda system. That's really what we're going to talk about next week. So we haven't really talked about it, and we're not going to a ton, but that's really where we're going to focus tomorrow. All right. On your whiteboard, what is the name of the conquistadors who conquered the Aztecs? Who conquers the Aztecs? He's also one of the worst human beings in history. Like, he's disgusting. Wow, who is it, Ellery? Whoa, you just mixed both of them now. You just said two last names. Who is it? Rinkus. Hernan Cortez. You said Pizarro Cortez, right? All right. Who is the guy who does the Incans? Who is it, Nola? Pizarro. Pizarro does the Incans. Hernan Cortez conquers the Aztecs. Here we go. Okay, so when I didn't ask you this question on your board, but you should know, when we open the old world and the new world, we now have what open? Columbian exchange. There are both positive things and bad things that come out of it. The old world is going to benefit. The new world is going to suffer the most. All right, we started talking about colonial administration, yes? Okay, we started talking about missionaries are coming. Missionaries are only doing two things, medicine and education. Those are the two positive things. What is the big negative thing about the Jesuits showing up? Joseph. Not Joseph. What the hell? Thomas, I'm so sorry. No, the diseases are obviously, that does not have anything to do with missionaries. It's just white people showing up. Jade? Forced conversion. Why are they doing forced conversion, Dylan?
Because the 30 years war, and there's not that many Catholics anymore.
There you go. There's not that many Catholics, so the Spanish are trying to be good Catholics, and they're going to force all these people. What is the largest sect of Christianity today? Catholicism. And why? Forced conversion in the New World. Absolutely. That's why Catholicism is the largest sect to this day, because of these good old Spanish missionaries converting all these people, aka forced conversions. All right, here we go. Colonial administration. Did we get to the encomienda system? Where did we get to in your notes, Emerson? Triangular trade? Yes. Okay. So we got to triangular trade. We talk about Casas paintings. Aren't they fascinating? It's kind of cool, like how diverse their world is. But just because their world is super diverse, does it mean they're accepting? No. And that's like the disgusting kind of side of it. It would have been really beautiful if we accepted this and then continued on with it, but unfortunately that's not going to happen. All right, we talk about triangular trade. We talk about how rum and guns are going to Africa in exchange for slaves. Those slaves are going across the Middle Passage to the Americas. They're buying cash crops in exchange for slaves. Those cash crops are then going to the Americas, and we're starting what we call manufactured goods. Manufactured goods are guns and rum. It takes a process. It takes all that stuff. And that's where we're starting, because what are we coming up to soon?
Industrial Revolution.
The Industrial Revolution is coming, and triangular trade is going to feed into that whole process, and that's why it's going to happen. We know that 11 million Africans are going to be forced into slavery. Yes. Okay. Where are they going? Where's the major destination? Lily. Brazil. You need to know that Brazil is the largest. And what are they growing in Brazil that they need all these slaves? What do you got, Mr. Nash? Sugar cane, which is very, very tedious and very physically debilitating to grow and harvest. Perfect. That must be where we left off, yes?
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. So, a couple things you do need to know. We need to know that there is syncretism happening. Voodoo, we call it voodoo. Okay, voodoo is happening where we see our mixing of African culture and beliefs into Catholicism. You do need to know this. Okay, AP loves syncretist stuff, and this is one of the biggest ones. It's primarily going to be led by the French, which is why, you know, where's the biggest capital here in the United States? New Orleans. Haiti has the largest, if we're talking about in the Western Hemisphere, but in New Orleans here in the United States. All right. I don't need to know Santeria. Okay. A big thing, I want you to put a big star. It's really important that you understand that slaves are rebelling at every single stage. You need to know that. It's going to continue happening. We're going to talk about it over and over again. I don't want you to think for any second of it that these slaves, whether they're in Africa, whether they're on their boat, or whether they're in the Americas some way, that they're not fighting back, because they're absolutely fighting back. Most of them are losing their lives because they are fighting back. All of those things. No one is accepting this. The second thing that you need to understand about the African slave trade, and you need to put a star next to this one, it all starts because Africans, write it down, Africans are selling other Africans to Europeans. So when we talk about slave trade starting, are the Europeans walking into the continent and capturing and like throwing a net over Africans and saying, oh, you're mine now? No, they're not. Africans are not walking on the continent into the continent, like walking in, until about almost 1800s. Then we have straight up imperialization where they're taking over entire sections of the continent. That's really when you start having the first white people walking through. Africans in Africa don't really see white people until close to the 1800s. If you're along the coastline, all of a sudden white people start showing up, but the white people are getting off of their boat, staying within sight of their boat, and then getting back on the boat. They're not taking over. So it is Africans selling other Africans to Europeans. Is everyone clear on that? Now, there is some academic dispute over, did the Africans know that they were selling their Africans, other Africans, into chattel slavery? Did they know it was a different type of slavery? Did they care? There's a lot of dispute about whether how much they knew about the treatment of them. Because remember, Africans have been selling slaves since the dawn of time, correct? You would sell your rivals. Whoever you're fighting in a war, you'd capture people and then you'd sell them to whoever's buying slaves. That's how it's traditionally done. This will eventually lead to 11 million, and it will lead to a population decline that we'll talk about in later weeks. Maroon, you need to know that a maroon is a runaway slave. We have civilizations here in the United States that are maroon societies, aka runaway slaves. The most famous one is called Galloway, something like that. It's in South Carolina. It's one of the largest places. It's way out on, what's it called when you're way out on the coast? What do they call it? Well, it's not the coastline. I do know the term coastline. But it's in like the islands and the marshes and stuff like that. Kind of, it's only in the coast. It's only in North Carolina and South Carolina. They have a specific term for it. Anyway, it's pretty far away. You had to go pretty far. Anyway, it's fine. They're maroon societies. These are where the slaves are running away to. They're hiding away and creating their own culture and their own identity within the framework of an enslaving culture. There's a couple of them that exist throughout the United States. Some of them are still intact. Most of them have been destroyed. All right. Here we go. You need to know that the Spanish are going to, because we're still under Spanish, aren't we? Yes? The Spanish are going to be mining gold and silver. Okay, gold and silver are pretty much the only things they're coming to do. So when we say that the Spanish are coming to the Americas and they're not bringing their wives because they're here for business, what are they really doing? They're mining. They're mining. They're mining. Okay? You need to know that silver is desired mostly by Japan and China. So pretty much all the silver that is mined in the Americas is going to Japan and China. Okay? They're obsessed with it. You don't need to write this down, but this is what's going to happen. Eventually, China is going to change their currency to be silver. Why is that a problem? Thomas.
Reliance on the Europeans.
Yeah, they're reliant on the Europeans to provide them with their currency. And which is worth more, gold or silver? Gold. So is that a great standard to set? No, it's going to lead to their complete economic collapse, which is going to lead to their conquering during spheres of influence. So it's like it's a domino effect. This is such a big deal. You have to understand that the silver is so beloved by China, that we're going to do a DBQ on it. It's called the Chinese silver trade, and it will completely corrupt and break down China completely. You do know that China at this point is obviously in decline, yes, but we haven't hit the bottom yet. The bottom will be when the silver corrupts it and rots it from the inside, and then it will be complete collapse until about the 1960s. Then in the 1960s, it finally starts industrializing, and then today we have modern China, who is, a power force, okay? So you need to know that because there is so much gold and silver floating around, write it down. Because there's so much gold and silver floating around because of the discovery of the Americas, Europe will change its economy to what we call mercantilism. And if you want to know how to spell it, it's up here. Okay, mercantilism. Mercantilism is an economy. What is the current U.S. economy? Capitalism. Yeah, we're a capitalist society. Capitalism is the economy. This is going to be pretty popular between about the 1500s to about the 1700s. Write it down. Mercantilism is the popular economic structure from 1500s to 1700s. It is when countries... Write it down. It is when countries hold on to as much gold and silver as they can. So essentially, what are they doing with the money? What are they doing with all the gold and silver?
They're hoarding it.
Yeah, they're hoarding it. They're putting it, like, have you ever seen Scrooge McDuck? DuckTales? No, it's a great reference. Nice. I knew I liked you, Emerson. Emerson's like, yeah, it's a great reference. Essentially, they're just putting it into piles, and then they go in and look at it, and they're like, yeah, and then they leave. And then they open the door again, and they're like, yeah, and then they leave. Is this a great way to run an economy with all the value of it?
I think it's just a test.
It is just a test. All right, so in a national emergency, we got our info. Here we go. Okay, so it is just...
I haven't gotten it yet.
Well, it'll come, I guess. All right, here we go. So mercantilism, it's when they are stockpiling crazy amounts of gold and silver.
Oh my lord.
It's just the other ones. Just clear it, dude. Physically clear it, so it'll go away. All right, here we go. So mercantilism is they're holding all this money that they're not reinvesting. Write it down. They're holding on to this money, but they're not reinvesting it into their economies. Okay? Which will lead to massive inflation. How do we feel about inflation? It sucks, doesn't it? We're only at, I think we're sitting at like 5.7% inflation right now. We're talking like 30-40% inflation in the 1720s, which is when it starts becoming very unpopular. Okay, you need to know that, put a big star, it will completely destroy Spain economy. and it will never recover. Okay. It is going to completely. How is Spain's economy today? It's garbage. It's pretty garbage. For being a European country, it's pretty garbage. Guys, so a perfect example of how idiotic Spain was with all the money that was coming from the New World is they built a 100-foot tall, solid gold Jesus. And it sat on a rocky hill overlooking a port. Now, I'm not telling you it's ridiculous because it's Jesus. I'm telling you it's ridiculous because it's a solid gold Jesus. Like, they had nothing better to do with the money. It caused a bunch of problems. Besides the fact, not a great investment, I think we can agree. Because gold is very reflective and sparkly, it blinded sailors coming into ports. They had constant crashes. And plenty of people are dying. It was just a big mess. Well, anyway, is that the best way to invest all that money? No, it's not. So when Spain's economy starts taking a big hit, once the gold production, mining slows down because there's only so much gold in the world, yes? What did they do with Jesus? Yeah, they melted him. Yeah, Jesus got melted. He got melted. He was only around for like 60 years. That's how bad their economy turned and how fast it turned. They were like, oh my God, we got so much gold. Let's make a Jesus. And they were like, in one generation, like, oh shit, we got to melt Jesus. That's how quickly because of inflation, because they're not investing in their economy. Think about it. If America just collected all the money from taxes and didn't fix our roads and didn't fix our bridges and stuff like that, how would it be to live here? Yeah, horrible. I mean, we already know we're in Plant High School and there's no air conditioning in some of the rooms. Okay, imagine if it was never going to be fixed because we're not reinvesting it. It would be horrible. That's what causes the end of mercantilism. You need to know it's going to be replaced by capitalism. What do you got, Dylan?
How is it leading to inflation if they don't put it back in the economy? Like, would money become more valuable since they're not?
So, okay, that is a fantastic question and an absolute great one, but I am not smart enough to answer it. I married an accountant. Okay, he's very smart, also very cute, thank you. So that's how I get all of my number information solved.
Okay.
What you need to know for AP is when you see mercantilism, it's going to fail because inflation gets so high.
Okay.
That's what you need to know. Now, you could do a little Google. You could ask your parents if they're like super savvy history and financial people. I can do a little Google for you if you would like, but I don't exactly know why. But I know AP likes mercantilism causes inflation. All right, perfect. Mercantilism, it is very popular from the 1500s to about the 1700s. It eventually will be replaced by capitalism. It is going to cause soaring high rates of inflation and destroy. All right. Silver trade, perfect. Okay. That's all talking about all that stuff. Okay, here we go. I want to talk about other colonists. Okay, so I want you to write number 3. And who is number 3? Who is the third empire? So Portugal rises first, then falls, then Spain rises, and then Spain's going to? And who is going to rise? Britain. All right, so write number 3 is England, please. Number 3 is England. They're first trading post empire. They are going to be your next one. You need to know that they are going to be the most powerful nation in the world. Write it down for 1588. What happens in 1588? They're going to defeat Spanish Armada. Write it down. In 1588, they defeat the Spanish Armada. By defeating the Spanish Armada, they've now defeated the strongest nation in the world, aka they become, until 1917. And who becomes number 1? USA. USA. Yes.
Why were we number 1 like before?
Because we didn't get involved in wars.
But like we beat them. We beat Britain in 2 wars before.
Yeah, but we kind of won by oopsies. We shouldn't have won the American Revolution. Guys, if the American Revolution happened 40 years after, we would have died in it because the Industrial Revolution is happening at that time and they hadn't got their shit together yet to use it in military form. If we waited 20 years to do it, we would have lost horribly. and we'd still be drinking tea all the freaking time. Okay? With that being said, it was a complete fluke that we won. We should not have won. If you are a betting guy at that time period, you would have bet America's going to lose. Because there's not a shot in hell that a bunch of farmers were going to take on the greatest country in the world. And it had been a dominant power for over 200 years, longer than we've been around, okay? And a bunch of farmers who have this weird idea of democracy are going to win. Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. But we shouldn't have won.
What about 1812?
What about when they invade?
Yeah.
It's because we started becoming an industrialized power ourselves, and we could defend ourselves better. But it's kind of like oh shit, they burned down a couple things, and then we just we changed the rules. They burned down the Capitol and like, see, we won. We got your capital. And we're like, nah, Capitol's New York now. And they're like, that's not how it works. We got your capital. And they're like, yeah, but it's now New York. And they're like, shit. And they couldn't take New York. That's how we won, because we changed the rules. The reason why we won the American Revolution is because we changed the rules. We don't follow the rules. We make the rules work for us, and that's why we win wars. What do you got, Nolan?
Like the French have anything to do with their winning?
Of the American Revolution? Yeah, they're our Navy. We don't have any hope without them. Have you not watched Hamilton?
No, I didn't.
Girl, you gotta watch Hamilton, okay? You gotta watch Hamilton. Come on now. Oh my God, what's his name in Hamilton? Lafayette is the best. All right, what do you got?
So are we still number 1?
Oh yeah, we're number 1 because we haven't really been challenged. We're number 1 right now. We're certainly number 1 in the world. We are the largest and most powerful superpower in the world. We could be challenged by China, but we, not me, Samantha Bennett is not making these assertions. Smart people who actually know what they're talking about says that China's coming up on us, but they don't have the Navy to back it, which is why China's investing all their money into a Navy. Russia, everyone thought Russia would be like number 2 or 3. What aren't we afraid of anymore? Oh my God, did you hear this yesterday? Okay, this is a little off topic. So yesterday, the Ukrainians captured a couple tanks in a battle in Ukraine. They captured them, and they couldn't figure out how to get them to work. So one of the Ukrainian soldiers, and this is a true story, it's all over the news, it's not Samantha Bennett bullshitting you, it's amazing. One of the Ukrainians, because a lot of them speak Russian because it's a territory, and they're European, so they speak multiple languages, quite unlike us, called the helpline for the Russian military, and the Russian military helpline chick helped them reprogram the tank, and now the tank is fighting for Ukraine. If that doesn't tell you shit's not going well for Russia right now, Russia's no longer a threat. The only thing Russia has that we do get worried about is, of course, they have nukes. Just a little problem. But yeah, so yeah, we're still a superpower, but we don't become we don't become that until 1917, and now we're still in power. So the next World War could change our held. Are we still number 1 after the next World War? Who knows? That's for history to decide. Callie?
Isn't Tampa like the place, if we had a war, that we'd get hit first?
No, that's not where we're going to get hit first, but we would be on the hit list for sure, because that's where all of our central intelligence for Europe and Africa are. Yeah. Yeah, they do really cool shit there. There are people on McDill, and I don't know what your family familial ties are to it, if you're affiliate or not. There are some people on McDill who know the wildest, craziest shit. Because we have super high up people in the military that are there on that base. And there's people from all around the world on McDill. Like there's a huge Swiss family. Swiss are here. The Italians are here. It's one of our big intelligence center. So that's why they have like crazier shit than like Kentucky. Kentucky is just like plains and shit. We've got, yeah, like they SOCOM or something like that or something. I don't know. I'm not a military person, but they like this is like top tier. They know they know like all the secrets, like the crazy shit, the cool shit is at McDill. Anyway, moving forward. Here we go. England, you need to know. We are way off task. I'm so glad I'm recording this. Okay. You need to know that the English, they are leaving England for political reasons, aka religious persecution. So, if you are leaving for political reasons, not economic, who are you bringing with you? Yeah, you're bringing your family. So, are the men leaving their wives and walking into the woods and hanging out with the natives? Hell no. Okay? So there is no mixing between the British and the natives. You need to know that. They tolerate no mixing because all the men have brought their wives. So there is no mixing. You also need to understand that the British prefer signing contracts. Write it down. You have to know this. It's a weird thing that the British do. And if you're like, oh my God, that's so nice they sign contracts, just wait. Okay, so the British are going to force natives to sell them land and sign contracts. If you're like, oh my God, this is great, keep writing. Okay, they are going to force the natives to sign contracts and sell them land. So, if the, now, question. Do you think the natives know what they're signing?
No.
Yeah, they don't. Do you think they also have the concept, understanding of owning land?
No.
They believe the earth is a communal place, that you don't own it, you share it. So the idea of owning a plot of land is completely out of their concept and understanding. It's not a thing they grasp. Write this down. So, when the natives void the contract, the English can shoot them. Keep in mind, these are God-fearing people. So, because of that, they can't just kill the natives, right? That's wrong. But if they break a contract and cross boundaries, they're protecting themselves. I told you, you shouldn't think this is great. So, you need to know. Guess what the natives do all the time? They eventually will start trying to kill the British, but they are breaking these contracts because they don't understand. They don't understand what they're doing. They don't understand what they're signing. They don't understand that they can't come in because that's not something they culturally are aware of or can process or anything like that. So they're kind of like, what? And then they walk into the wrong place, and now the British can shoot them without any guilt. I didn't do this. You did this. I'm not killing you. You're forcing me to kill you, and that's why I'm still going to heaven.
Wasn't there?
What do you got?
Wasn't there like a language barrier?
Of course. Yeah, but I'm from Massachusetts. The Wampanoags, who are an indigenous to Plymouth Plantation, it's called the Wampanoags. You had Somerset. How I'm so proud of my Massachusetts education. Somerset spoke English when the Pilgrims arrived. He could translate. Guys, there's some people in the room that are really good at other languages. Can we agree? I'm not one of them. I struggle with English. But people pick up, the natives pick it up too, but they don't have a concept of all the understandings and all the nuances that come with it. So what's going to happen is you need to put a star. Native Americans hate the British. Why? Because they're like flat out killing them because they're breaking all these contracts. They also want nothing to do with the natives, but guess whose land they're on? Oops, natives. So you do need to understand that. You need to understand that it is a complete separation. They want nothing to do with the natives. Complete separation. So if you decide to befriend the natives, okay, and you think what they're doing is cool, you'll be completely rejected from society. It's a complete blackballing. So the natives hate it. We're going to eventually cover the French and Indian War. The French and the Indians are fighting together against who? The British. Because everyone hates the British. Okay. You need to know that because they're here with families, they're here for sustenance, or they're here to live. So they are growing food crops and cash crops. Write it down. The British are farmers. They're here to grow cash crops, and they're here to grow like food to eat, their sustenance. Okay, because they're living here. They're here to exist and permanent future. Okay, you need to know these are minor. These are other smaller colonies. Write it down. Other smaller colonies. Okay, so you need to know England's going to be the biggest. It's going to be the most powerful starting in 1588, of course. But you need to know that the French are going to be here in the United States. Okay, the French are here for what? What are they doing? Well, they are going to eventually fight a war, but we're about 200 years. Thomas?
Like fur trade.
Yeah, they're all here for the fur trade. So you need to know that. You need to know that the French are here for fur trading. Which means, okay, are they setting up permanent spots? No, because they're following the animals and stuff like that, okay? Now, who do you think knows the land better? You better put that phone away, Emma. understand. I see you smiling at whatever text messages you're getting back there. My jokes are not that funny. I know that. What you need to know is that the French are going to rely on the natives' help because a bunch of white people know the land better, or the natives? Natives. So the French, you need to write this down, are actively looking for native support. So think about it. And if the French are coming over here for fur trapping, ladies, are you going to go follow your husband while he goes fur traps? Hell no. Hell no. I'm not a hiking kind of gal anyway. So, with that being said, these men are coming over here without their wives. So what are they doing? They're mixing, of course, okay? But they actually need the natives because the native women, think about it. Imagine you see a cute little native girl and you're like, yeah. And her dad is a really good hunter. So you get the cute chick and you get the inside scoop of where? So guess what? The French are marrying in. You need to put a big star. The French are the preferred European colonists. Now, do the natives want any Europeans there? No. No. It is really important that you hear me. The Native Americans don't want white people wandering around. But if they're going to have white people wandering around, who do they want? They want the French, because the French treat them with respect. The French treat them with kindness. The French treat them with pretty equality. They're exploiting them and using them for their own benefit. But you need to understand that the French are going to leave the Americas. Write it down. The French are going to leave in like 1800. Okay, in 1802, they sell us what? What do they sell us, Thomas? Louisiana Purchase. Okay, the French are going to leave. They're going to stay up in Canada, but they're going to leave down here. And that's kind of like they never really grow into huge. The biggest city that the French build in the Americas is in Quebec. The second one is New Orleans. Okay, and both of those are on major ports of entry because the only thing they care about is fur trading, correct? New Orleans is on the mouth of the Mississippi. It's a perfect port for doing fur trading. And Quebec is apparently somewhere very important too. I don't know. Okay, so you should just be aware. You don't need to write this down. The Dutch are here. They're going to settle what we would call New York, New Jersey. They're settling this area. They're going to leave pretty quick. They're going to sell to the British. But that's why we call certain things in New York that way. Okay. A couple things that you should know about the English. Going back to the English, they do indentured servitude. That's it. We're done. We're good. Bye. At least it's interesting stuff, yes? At least this actually affects us. I love Mansa Musa, don't get me wrong, but how much is Mansa Musa affecting your daily life? Exactly. Bye. Yes, my darling? Oh. Sure. It's in a massive pile back there. You are more than welcome to go look, Jade. If you can't find it,